last but certainly not least, actually the very opposite of the least, I want all of us to end by touching a little bit on, at the end of the day, I think in one way or another, we are all involved in this work because we are Christians. And so I want to ask each of you to tell viewers a little bit about how being a Vincentian has influenced your faith journey and the role your faith plays in the work that you do with the society.
You know, one of the things I did not expect in joining the Society of St. Vincent de Paul was the spiritual aspect of it. We have spiritual readings, discussions, and sometimes we can just take them as an agenda item and get through it quickly. But I think over time, we just realize how much our spirituality plays a role in our Vincentian vocation. And it's a two-way, definitely two ways. I don't think I ever would have become a Vincentian if that call to service had not already been part of who I think I am. And at the same time, my spirituality and my faith has grown leaps and bounds since becoming a Vincentian. We just in visiting our neighbors in need and just thinking about how do I see Jesus in the person I'm talking to? And sometimes that can be really hard. But if you keep thinking about it, that Jesus is working through this person to have an impact on my faith. Never would have thought of that any other way other than through the society.
And I think that was a wonderful way of putting it. And I think that one of the things that's really impacted me is I've been inspired by all the people around me who are doing this. It's been really interesting. I think I'm a better person, and I'm a more humble person since becoming a Vincentian because of all the people who've been doing it for so long. You talked about Barbara; she's been doing it for 25 years. I heard Omar 3 decades. Oh, whoa! I have to do like 4 times what I've done so far to get close. And then I think about Dane McCarthy, who's 85, finally had to hang up his skates, but he did this for like 30, 40 years. He was treasurer for 10, like I'm the treasurer today, and I've been doing it for 4. And it's really interesting, and when I still do visits and everything else, I think we stand on the shoulders of giants, is the way I put it. And one of the things that I found most humbling was when one of the people from Central came to see us as a conference and said, do you realize that in the first 6 months after St. Basil's was founded and built, there was a St. Vincent de Paul Society here, and their first winter, the bitter winter of 1856-57, they were helping, and I don't remember the name of the person, but it was an Irish name, with the coal to keep the family warm in that particular winter. And it was a very bitter winter, and they found a way to start a society there. They like an outcropping of the society, or a chapter, a conference, and it's been going there since 1856. So I'm standing on the shoulders of giants.
So well said, Jay. I think to add a little bit to what you're saying there, there's something that's really, human and very personal. Like, our faith is incredibly personal and relationship based and very unique in how we're all very individually called to our own ministry. And there's something beautiful about seeing every Christian kind of going their own way and living it out, but being able to see that in other people and being inspired by those who've gone before us. There's something really quite beautiful in that. I think the inspiration of seeing others living out their faith is something that's really impacted me. It's not just an abstract faith of being lived out like in the pews, but when you go and volunteer, when you go and try to help other people in your community, you see others living out their faith, and it rubs off on you, right? You learn from others as they journey too. So it's really quite beautiful just to kind of go through that growth together. Yeah.
I think the only thing I'll add is I joined the society not long after I was raised Catholic, I left for many years, came back to the church, and not long after I joined the society. And one of the things that converted me was reading Dorothy Day's The Long Loneliness. And Dorothy spent most of her ministry serving vulnerable people and poor people and living with them and working with them. And she had a phrase that in that book that has always really struck me because it really spoke to my faith experience. There's a phrase where she says, every day of my life I've felt haunted by God. And I've certainly felt that. And coming back to the church, it's been less a haunting. It's been more, especially with St. Vincent de Paul, I've felt the experience of being physically with Christ in everything that we do in this work. We have a beautiful part of our closing prayer that we say in the end of our meetings, and it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite prayers. It's that prayer that goes, "Wherever 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am among them." And we all sit silently for 30 seconds and sit with that. And every time I say that at our Vincentian conference, I truly feel Christ there with us. And even on the days, I think someone was saying earlier, I think you were saying, there are days where it's hard to see the face of Christ in the people that we work with, but we do, we really do. And I certainly feel that on all those visits that we go on. And so for me, the faith journey has quite literally been being with Christ and being close with Christ in all of this work. And, I think I will only add to that. We live in I think it's fair to say, a sometimes morally ambiguous world where sometimes we wonder, are we doing the good thing or are we doing the right thing? Yeah. The thing with St. Vincent de Paul is I've never experienced that ambiguity with St. Vincent de Paul. Every second I spend doing Vincentian work, I feel like I'm doing what God wants me to do. And that, I think, is really powerful for any faith journey. So on that note, I want to thank all of you for being part of these conversations, Stephen, Omar, Catherine, Anne, and Jay. And I think I'll end by saying that, we're the people watching this right now will be watching in 2020. They'll be watching in 2021. And there's a decent chance they'll be watching 5 years from now and 10 years from now. And so I want to end by echoing something that Jay said. All of us stand on the shoulders of giants in this society. And the Vincentians watching this, that will be the case. And let me tell you, we will all be praying for you, no matter what era of the society you are working in, because we are all so invested in this work. And we know it's so critical to bringing Christ to the people in this world who need him the most. So thank you very much, everyone. And we'll see you all soon.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.
Cut.